Welcome to another episode of Ask the Zamboni Experts. I'm your host, Marty Elliott, and along with me today is a good friend of mine, Jason Maslakow, properly known by the Dart Guy. And Jason, welcome aboard.
Marty, thank you so much. It's a pleasure to be here today. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, it's great to have you on board. We've been anxious to get you on here. I know you're a busy fella, and you got a lot going on in your world, but thank you for taking the time. Let's get into this. Let's share with the audience. Some might know the story, some might not. How did this all come about? What were you doing? What were you thinking? Were you having a couple pops on a Friday night thinking, I'm going to go to the Scotiabank Arena back then, the Air Canada Center, and going, I'm going to really stand out in the crowd? Tell the audience.
Well, it was first year Leafs had been back in the playoffs in 8 years. I've been a lifelong Leafs fan ever since I was a kid, and I had never been to an actual Leafs playoff game. I obviously watched some amazing runs on TV, but I never went to a game. And when the schedule came out for that first year back in the playoffs against Washington, I knew I wasn't going to be able to get tickets probably in Toronto. It's impossible to get tickets on for a regular season game, let alone the playoffs.
So true.
And if you can, they're pretty pricey. So a couple of friends and I, we started talking about like we had to be at a playoff game one way or another, and the idea hit us to maybe look at the availability for tickets in Washington. So leading up to the series, it was only a couple days away, I think, from game one when we really came to the conclusion that, listen, we're going to do this. Hopped online and lo and behold, there was actually tickets available at a, like, we got tickets 20 rows away from the ice at a really decent price. So me and my friends, we didn't think twice. We purchased a couple tickets. The game was on a Saturday. We left Waterloo, where I was living at the time. I left at like 11 o'clock, went and picked some friends up around Toronto, and by 12 o'clock we were on the road for the 10-hour trek down to Washington. When my friends and I were discussing this, I warned them. They know I have a very outgoing personality. I knew that I wanted to do something different. It was my first Leafs playoffs game ever. We were taking the time to go to Washington, so I wanted to make sure Washington Capitals fans knew Leafs Nation was in the arena. And I came up with the idea to paint my face. It was a couple days in preparation because I went and I had the Stanley Cup shaved into my head as a mohawk. The Go Leafs Go into the back of the head, had that dyed blue. And when you asked if I had a couple pops, well, when we got to Washington, yes, that was part of it. Got to Washington at 10 o'clock in the morning. I tried to sleep for about, I wanted to sleep for a couple hours because I knew it was going to be a long day. But the excitement of knowing what was coming, what was transpiring, going to my first playoff game ever as a Leaf fan, I got like 20 minutes, half an hour sleep after driving 10 hours straight to Washington. So I got up. I said, "Let's go, boys. We got to start now." So it was like 11 o'clock. We left the hotel and went to find a local establishment and started with some lunch and some pictures.
Oh, and I got to ask this question: when you're walking down near the arena there, I've been to that arena. Did you feel a little intimidated with what you had on your face? Were you a little concerned, or were your buddies that were with you your bodyguards, I guess?
Well,
how'd you feel?
I think perhaps my friends felt maybe a little more intimidated than I did. I mean, I really didn't care. I'm a fairly big dude, so. Yep. I don't think you do that if you're going to walk into the arena and kind of be intimidated and shy away. Like I didn't care what anybody wanted to say to me. I'm a proud Leafs fan, and they were going to know I was there.
Well, I do recall that night because watching post game on TSN, they actually showed you. Did you actually see on TSN's their 11 o'clock sports segment? Did you see yourself? Or did you hear about this?
I didn't really see anything until very briefly after the game, and then in the morning when I got up. So when it happened during the game, when when CBC threw the segment up, so what they were doing was they were making light of the Maple Leafs and some of their youth, how they couldn't actually grow a playoff beard.
Yes.
So they showed Marner with a couple little pieces of stubble, and Matthews with at the time his mustache was barely coming in, and they panned over to Nylander, who had like absolutely nothing. Like I don't even think he had like one whisker coming out. And then they panned over to me in the audience, and they said, "Well, now that's a playoff beard."
That is a playoff beard. Well, it's interesting because Lou Lamoriello, he was totally against facial hair when he was on site, when he was the GM. He would not allow the players to have facial hair. And down at when I was down at the Ford Performance, the practice facility, I was talking to, I forget who it was at the time, one of the players I was briefly talking to, and he had 5 o'clock shadow. I said, I guess Lou's away on holidays. And he said, "What do you mean?" I sasaid, "Well, you haven't shaved." He goes, he started laughing. He goes, "Everyone knows that story, don't they?" And I said, "Yeah, that's pretty common. Well,
Yeah.
not to everybody, but pretty common." So you come back to Toronto, and you make your debut at the Air Canada Centre, now Scotiabank Arena. How did that work out? Like you skyrocketed. You still are skyrocketing. You're so well known throughout many chases of the hockey establishment. Share with the audience about the next steps, where that went to.
Well, yeah, it was the next morning when I woke up after a little bit of a foggy night in Washington, obviously celebrating the Leafs' big win in double overtime. I was on my way home. One of my friends decided to take the reins and drive my vehicle back for me because my phone started going off first thing in the morning, and it was phone call, text message, email after email. Interview requests, but one of them came in was from the Toronto Maple Leafs, and they messaged saying, "Hey, listen, we loved seeing Dark Guy last night, and we were just curious as to what you're doing tomorrow night." And my response to them was, "Hopefully going to a Leafs game." And they said, "Absolutely. There'll be 2 tickets waiting for you at Will Call. Come down, grab the tickets." And they had quite the afternoon planned for me. I ended up going up on stage with Steve Dangle at Maple Leaf Square to give away some tickets to the game and get the fans going out there. I was on they had me lined up on TSN with on the panel on TSN with Duthie. I ended up hopping over on Sportsnet. I think any Leafs fan has seen me and Sid sharing a dart in Maple Leaf Square. So yeah, it was awesome that the Leafs reached out like that and gave me some tickets to keep enjoying the Leafs playoff run.
Nice. And you're still doing it? Are you still going to the games? Are you still presenting Dark Guy once in a while?
Well, if the minute we're allowed to actually go back to a game, yes. But up to last year, the last game I went to was the Edmonton Oilers and Leafs game at the ACC, or sorry, Scotiabank, where McDavid walked Riley for that highlight reel goal. Everybody remembers that one. So yes. That was the last game I went to before fans were told they weren't allowed to go anymore. And yeah, I still do the paint up when I go. The amount of I'm still getting tons and tons of requests for pictures and autographs and stuff when I'm at the game. It's really pretty surreal.
Well, let me ask you, before this came into fruition and happened, what were you doing before? What's your full-time career? What do you do? Maybe share with the audience. I'm sure a lot of people want to know, what's this Jason guy do for a living?
Well, currently I am the head scout of the Collingwood Blues Junior A franchise in the Ontario Junior Hockey League. I am the general manager for a shop called Dogtopia. We do dog daycare, dog training, dog boarding, grooming, basically a one-stop shop for all your pups' needs. But at the time, I was actually painting cars for Toyota, which people have enjoyed getting a little bit of a giggle, saying, "Well, no wonder his face was painted. He used to paint cars."
So was that Toyota blue color, or was that the Maple Leaf blue color?
No, that was Maple Leaf blue.
It's pretty close, a little bit darker pigment than the Zamboni blue, if you will, but I love it. So you go from painting cars to ending up down at the American, I believe it was the American Airlines Arena at the time, but back then,
Yeah, Verizon Center. Yeah.
Verizon Center, to you're a scout for the Collingwood Blues in the Ontario Junior Hockey League. I believe you were a scout for the Aurora Tigers under Jimmy Thompson and his debut down there. What else is going on in your world now? Share with the audience.
Well, living just outside of Barrie. Like I said, I manager at Dogtopia. Just recently launched a podcast called The Smoke Show that's available on the FHN network. It streams live on Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, and then it's available as a podcast after on Spotify, Google Podcasts. But just kind of, I'm chasing my dreams down. Like I said, at the time when it all happened, I worked at Toyota. I had a very good career, making very good money. But when I was a kid growing up in Sudbury, Ontario, I didn't dream of painting cars for Toyota. Sure. My two biggest loves in life are dogs and hockey. So when I was a kid, even before I ever wanted to be a hockey player, my first intuition in life was that I wanted to be a vet when I got older. I wanted to help animals. So when everything happened with Dark Guy, and things were going so well, and I kept proving myself and proving the doubters wrong, I realized I had a major opportunity that I was never going to have in my life again. And I could have stayed in the secure, cushy job for life at Toyota, because they treat their employees well over there. Mm-hmm. Or I could go out on a limb and chase down my dreams of working in the NHL one day. Obviously, it didn't work out for me as a player, but I never stopped having that desire. I never stopped having the confidence in myself that I knew the game well enough to take a step to the next level. So I went out on a limb. I left Toyota and I started chasing down my hockey dreams, and through a bunch of mutual friends and a long telephone line story, I ended up getting introduced to Jim Thompson, who offered me my first position in hockey as a scout with the Aurora Tigers.
Fantastic. And now you were there for a couple of years, I believe, Jason. You're up in Collingwood at the Eddie Bush Arena. Great facility. The second oldest. A lot of people don't know this. The Eddie Bush Arena is the second oldest outside of the Alder in Stratford, Ontario. The second oldest arena, I believe, in North America. Did you know that, Jason?
I knew it was up there. Definitely, I got to know a little more of the history of Eddie Bush Memorial Arena over the last 2 years of working for the Blues. But I got to tell you, that is a junior hockey rink to the core. You walk into that place, and there is just an atmosphere, a feeling about that arena. I absolutely love it. Some people would maybe look for a little more of a modern design with better seating or whatever, but it's an amazing building. I wouldn't trade it for the world. Dave Steele's done an amazing job of updating it, putting in new seating and everything, bringing it a little more up to date. But let's hope Collingwood never moves away from Eddie Bush, because it's just a fantastic place to watch a hockey game.
Well, so fantastic that the Maple Leafs, for a while, I want to say it was in the 90s, they were actually going there for their summer camps, picking, the draft picks and all that would come up. And back then, Mike Gardner, I don't know if Mike was still with the squad then, but they used the Eddie Bush Arena for their summer camps a lot. I know they moved it around, but a great barn. I love that barn. I played in it in my junior days. A great facility. Just has that wood look. It's got some great hockey has been played in that facility, and let's hope, as you said, a lot more is going to be played there. You talk about your tenure during your hockey career, playing amateur, and I believe, if I'm correct, you played goalie. So let me ask you this: there could be an opportunity if you are at a Leaf game and there's a need of a goalie. If our good friend David Ayres isn't available, do you actually take your goalie equipment with you when you go to a game?
I'm not gonna lie, um, not on purpose, but there had been a few times where maybe I had played a men's league game, some beer league the night before. I was going down to a game and I got home at late. And I was too lazy to take the equipment out of the car. Where I did have all my goalie gear in the back heading down to a game. I'd be lying if I said I never had the thought or dream or wish that, if something happens tonight and both goalies go down, my gear is here. Like David Ayres, the story, I've absolutely loved every minute of it. The fact that the Leafs, he beat the Leafs in that game, people take it as a point of contention. I think it's absolutely amazing. I would trade every single moment of the Dark Guys story to have played that one part of a game like David did. It's just that would be a dream come true.
Being there at the right time, the right place, the right moment, crossing your toes and fingers. I didn't think. I know wasn't expecting it, and he actually sits in sometimes when they're injured and goes over to the Mastercard now for performance practice facility and back plays a goal for them when they need him. So good on him, and you never know. Never say never, right?
Yeah, well, I'm pretty sure the Leafs have his number on speed dial if something ever came up in the future. But you never know. Like I said, that would be an absolute dream come true, and I'm pretty sure I still got it, judging by the last time I strapped the pads on. So moving not quite as fast as I used to now that I'm 41 years old, but yeah,
Well,
I still got it.
Some of the coworkers of mine know that I've done this due to the pandemic. I do have a 150 by 50 ice rink available to us anytime you want to strap them on while we're still in the pandemic and you want some shots fired at you. I got the nets, I got it all. So by all means, Jason.
Well, we might be able to make those arrangements one day. Bracebridge isn't that far from me.
No, it's not. No, it's not. Not at all. So tell the audience, the dark guy, I should say, as in cigarette smoking, share your experience with Shanny, what Shanny was talking about and endorsing and trying to get you to, I guess, quit smoking, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, so how that all started is I was actually on the Todd Shapiro show with Todd on his former show on Sirius XM, and Todd kind of caught me off guard with a challenge on air to quit smoking. I needed to take a little bit of time to think about it, but Todd in his wisdom, and he's often not underestimated for it. He made a real good point that day on his show, and the more I thought about it, I wanted to use my platform to send the best message I possibly could. And that's how I wanted to be remembered.
Amen.
I didn't want to be remembered as the guy that could have potentially been the reason people started smoking. I wanted to look at a way to spin that in the most positive way possible. And I decided to accept Todd's challenge to quit smoking. It led to a partnership with Nicorette. And when I made the announcement that, I was going to do a quit smoking campaign and wanted anybody that felt they were ready to join along with me and try and quit, it managed to reach all the way up to Brendan Shanahan. And he had the kindness in him to take to Twitter and wish me the best of luck. One of the greatest days of my life when I saw that tweet from Shanny, president of the Maple Leafs. I mean, really, that he took the time to wish me luck. It went fairly well for the first couple of months. I did really, really well. As time went on, unfortunately, I did go back to smoking. I will make another run at quitting sometime in the future. But the worst part about it was when I actually got to meet Shanahan about a year and a half later. And the very first words out of his mouth were, "So, did you quit?" And I was like, "Well, yes, for a while." And I started again. And he just smiled. He said, "Yeah, I know it's difficult." So, uh, but yeah, it was amazing that he reached out. It was really tough for me to tell him that I had started again now.
Well, you know what, humbling, and God bless you, Jace. I'm sure, as I sit here today, there's a lot of people that have you to thank because you actually brought them down the path, and they probably have quit smoking and haven't gone back. And I'm sure that you will quit. I know you will. You're a strong man, and I have no doubt in my mind. I have no doubt in my mind. Hey,
What?
listen, go ahead. Sorry, I don't want to
Well,
interrupt.
I was just gonna say, absolutely. That was the best part of it, though. That was like really humbling and really touched home was how many people I actually did receive messages from that said, "You know what? If you're quitting, so am I." And the amount of people that were successful in it, and if I was able to get even just one person to successfully quit, it was worth it. I know there was multiple, and while they were successful at that point in time, and I wasn't, I'm proud that I could have been part of their journey and their inspiration.
Yeah, good on you, and no doubt people are out there thanking you for your endeavor, and hey, we all have vices. As I said, no doubt you're going to quit sometime again in the future, and hopefully the near future. That being said, Jason, share with the audience, give an opportunity. I know you mentioned it once already, so you have your own podcast. What's the podcast name, and where can they find it?
It's the Smoke Show. It's on the FHN network. So our Twitter handle is the Smoke at the Smoke Show FHN. Same thing over on Instagram. It streams live every Monday or Tuesday, depending on what night the Leafs are playing on, because I'm not recording a podcast while the Leafs game's on.
Right.
So it's either Mondays or Tuesday nights. It streams live on our Twitter feed. It streams live on the FHN network Twitter feed. It's streaming live on Twitch and Facebook and YouTube, so you can watch it live. And if you happen to miss the live show, it's always available as a podcast on Spotify and Google Podcasts right now. We'll be getting over to iTunes and all the iHeartRadio and a whole bunch of others in the near future.
Nice, nice. You know what? I'm actually surprised. You and I have not crossed paths in an arena, and we probably have. Just I'm in the back area, in the Zamboni area, and you're out at the front area. So
I would say that's a good possibility. Yeah.
I have no doubt, and I look forward to the day that we actually do get to see each other. I mean, Nate and Mel up in Collingwood, good friends of mine. You probably, I know we spoke about it. The new lithium-ion machines that we put into both the bubble and the Eddie Bush Arena. Hopefully they're doing a great job. I know they are, and the operators love those machines. I got to thank you again, Jason, for coming on and spending the time with me today. This is a blast. I hope we can do it again. And this is what I mean by doing it again. I know we will see each other down at Scotiabank Arena. I hope that you and I get to have a pop, maybe two, and celebrate when those boys in blue do what they haven't done for a while. And you know what that is. Yes? You know
Absolutely.
What that is, right?
That is a guarantee. We'll make that happen for sure.
Fantastic. Well, Jason, thanks for spending the time with us. I want to thank everyone for listening into another episode of Ask the Zamboni Experts podcast. Have a question for one of our experts, an idea for a future podcast, please email your questions or request to info@zamboni.com. Or for more information and additional podcast episodes, please visit zamboni.com/podcasts or search Ask the Zamboni Experts on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and Spotify. This is Marty Elliott wishing you an ice day.